When you fire up the game, do you ever have a voice in your head that instantly thinks, yeah, this is going to be another mouse maze with guns? And it's because of the size of the maps you were initially handed? Well, I do. So imagine my surprise Tuesday morning when I walked into a match and took 3 steps forward and realized, oh, this thing's actually big. A Battlefield map that's actually big enough? Well, I'll be damned. Because apparently someone at DICE found the sticky notes on their monitor reminding them that the scale is supposed to be part of this franchise. And for the first time in a long time, it actually felt like Battlefield. You know, the game series we've been trying to rediscover like a missing sock for several years now. Today's video is simple. No doom-scrolling energy. No laundry list of grievances. That's Monday's job, the damage reports. Make a note of that. This is a Friday, and on Fridays, we're going to start keeping it light. So today, we're taking a field trip. Let's talk about this new Battlefield 6 playground. Why it actually works. Why the changes matter more than you might think. And why this one map quietly fixes a problem that's been eating at the franchise since 2018. So sit back, grab a drink. It's Friday. Let's talk about the new map, Eastwood. It's funny what happens when DICE remembers scale exists. You give players a map that isn't the size of a 2-car garage, and wouldn't you know it, people start playing smarter. The first match I played wasn't anything special. It wasn't even a sweaty lobby. Nobody was pulling off YouTube montage plays. There wasn't some magical pocket of tryhards performing synchronized zipline ballet routines. Nope. It was just a normal map. But the difference? The room to breathe. The room to choose the approach. The room to actually flank someone without brushing shoulders with half the server on my way there. Holy shit, I could flank again. It was amazing, absolutely astounding, what a little open space does for a game. And we're not even talking about giant. We're talking about properly scaled. Enough distance to matter, enough cover to move, enough height to think about a freaking proper line of sight, and enough width to stay alive longer than a TikTok clip. This right here is the kind of design that should have been the standard from the moment Battlefield 6 went live. But hey, better late than never. And I played the new map and I didn't hate it. That's newsworthy, right? And look, I'm not saying this is a masterpiece. I'm not planting a flag and declaring that the rebirth of the franchise is here to stay. I'm not handing out awards to a company because they remembered how stairs work. I'm just saying, it felt right. Here's what immediately stood out for me. Snipers finally have real lanes. Not hallways, not corridors disguised as hills. Actual lanes, open but not too barren. Long but not absurd. And freaking recognizable as no-no zones. Like, it could be red again. Get too excited about playing actual Battlefield and you just got zipped in the head with a fatal headshot from a sniper. Nobody's fault but yours, buddy. You forgot to look and see the big wide open space. And more importantly, counterplay exists again. When that sniper takes a shot at you, you have 2 choices. Respect his sightline or break it with a new position. That's enough space to make a decision. And in modern shooters, that's half the battle. Let's see, what else? Vehicles finally feel purposeful again. You put a tank into a closet, it's just a metal coffin. Put a tank on a wide environment, now it's a chess piece. The new map gives vehicles decent-sized approach routes, actual good rotations, so much flanking potential. and defensive roles that actually matter. And the best part? Infantry has breathing room too. Vehicles aren't oppressive, they're present. That's balance. Infantry play feels better. No, really, it does. The most recent Battlefield maps have felt like trying to survive a mosh pit with knives. You spawn, you run, you get shot, repeat until numb. But here, you actually get to move, think, rotate, reposition, play some angles, use the elevation, choose fights, not have the fights choose you. It feels like Battlefield, not a 20-second respawn simulator. For the first time in a long time, exploration now finally exists. This is a weird thing to praise, but you know exactly what I mean. You walk forward and think, what's over this ridge? What's around that corner? Is there a way to flank left through the golf course? Can we stop shooting for like 2 minutes so I can look around? And when you get there, the answer is actually yes. Exploration, Battlefield, and actual fun? Who knew? Oh, and before I forget, the map is big enough where you can freely run all 4 classes like Battlefield maps are intended. I'll get to more of that in a minute. So again, Field Trip Friday. This is a decent playground. Because that's honestly what it felt like. Not work, not grinding, not meta chasing, not test the patch notes to see what broke this time. Just wandering around, exploring, rediscovering what it feels like to enjoy a shooter simply because the environment is fun to exist in. This map feels like the kind of level I used to lose hours in. Not because I was trying to master it, but because the design quietly invited me to look around. And if you've been gaming long enough, if you're one of those older players, the Gen X crowd, the I've played more shooters than you had birthdays people, you know exactly what I mean. Games used to feel like places, not tubes. They used to have personality, not layouts. This new map does something DICE hasn't managed consistently in years. It gives you a sense of place. Not just a battlefield, a space you recognize, a space you feel, a space you can begin to understand as you play. And that's where Battlefield used to shine. Maps weren't disposable. Maps were characters all their own. The map feels like a return to that idea. Not fully, not perfectly, but enough to remind me why I keep sticking with this franchise even when it makes me question my life choices. Now, as I mentioned before about those 4 classes, this Eastwood map has 3 sections: CQB, open swaths, and mid-range. If I'm playing Columbia Heights or Empire State, if I use the sniper class, I'm actually slapping a DMR on, not a sniper rifle. It made no sense to me to use a long-distance weapon. But here, on Eastwood, I don't feel I need to limit the loadouts anymore. You got tanks, helicopters, open area for snipers, CQB for urban warfare, long streets for ARs, and mid-ranges for those hit-and-run SMG users. And there's ways to get small elevation by rooftops, nothing too crazy like a mountaintop. So I can use any loadout I want without feeling cramped. Fucking finally. Will this mean EA and DICE will live by their announcement of bigger maps to come? Well, that's the real question on the table, isn't it, folks? Because if this map is the template, if this is the direction, if this is the scale they're designing around going forward, well then yeah, we might finally be looking at a version of Battlefield that understands its own legacy. A version that respects space, respects pacing. A version that lets players use their brains instead of relying on chaos. But this is DICE we're talking about. They've made promises before. Sometimes they deliver. Sometimes they crash through the floor like cartoon characters testing gravity. So for now, I'm cautiously optimistic. Enjoy the win. Enjoy the map. Enjoy the room to breathe, brothers and sisters. Can I get an amen? And hey, if this is the start of the Battlefield maps are big again era, I'll be the first one in line saying, well, I'll be damned. Again, can I get an amen? Thanks for watching, everyone. Next week, I'm starting a new format with the videos. The schedule is staying the same, only the format changes. And hey, wait, before you go, seriously, please check out the video description for this month's Military Spotlight, MSGA, Military Support Groups of America. I make a spotlight on a specific veteran-related charity, support group, or awareness program each month. MSGA's Novembers. There's all sorts of info in the description for you, which you can check out at your leisure, but the MSGA info is near the very bottom. Please take a minute to check out the link, read about the group, and consider supporting. You can share the link or support any which way you feel is appropriate. Thanks. And until the next one, out.